Jury selection is set to begin today for another high-profile criminal trial, this time in Windsor, Ontario. 4 members of the Afzal family were killed just over 2 years ago in London, Ontario. A then 9-year-old boy was the sole survivor of the attack. Prosecutors allege a man deliberately rammed his pickup truck into the family during their evening walk. It sent reverberations of grief around the country and prompted calls to combat Islamophobia. Let's bring in Hilary Johnstone. She's looking ahead to this case for us. There is a 22-year-old man, Hilary, who faces 4 counts of first-degree murder and terrorism charges. So look ahead. I just mentioned jury selection today. What's in store?
Well, certainly what's in store, Heather, is that some of those emotions, some of those feelings and calls that you were just mentioning, we've already heard from the Muslim community in London, Ontario, that they do expect a lot of those feelings to come back up. Of course, it's now been more than 2 years since the Muslim family, the Afzal family, were killed when prosecutors say they were out for an evening walk in suburban London, Ontario, and this now 22-year-old man, 20 years old at the time, Nathaniel Veltman, allegedly targeted them, ran them over, and killed them. That's what prosecutors have alleged. So as you say, Heather, 4 counts of first-degree murder that he's facing, 1 count of attempted murder as well, because there was a 9-year-old boy who survived that attack, but of course, very, very sadly lost his family. And then there are associated terrorism charges as well. So when this all gets underway today, jury selection is expected to happen. Some of those opening statements, opening arguments are not expected to happen for a couple of more days still. But certainly what we've heard from some members of that Muslim community in London is that, yes, this is part of the healing process, but it's also going to bring up a lot of those emotions once again, because that community is still very much hurting and is still trying to heal. And of course, you'll remember that not only was this a moment for the Muslim community in London, Ontario, but Canadians right across the country also rallied in support of that family as well.
Hilary, you mentioned the terrorism charges. This will be a test of Canada's anti-terrorism laws. So what will national security and legal experts specifically be watching for?
Some very key things here, because not only do they need to be able to prove this terrorism charge beyond a reasonable doubt, but there are a few things in particular that prosecutors here are going to need to prove. So in particular, a terrorism charge, they need to prove that the actions of this now 22-year-old man were motivated by a political, religious, or ideological purpose, objective, or cause, that it sought to intimidate the public or possibly a certain segment of the public. And certainly what we heard from London police at the time was they do believe this family was targeted because they were Muslim. Now, this trial is going to be happening in Windsor, Ontario, about 200 kilometers away, not in London. The reason that that trial was moved to Windsor, we don't know. That's all been covered under a publication ban, but certainly, Heather, a lot to be watching for. We do know that some members of the Muslim community in London do plan to travel to Windsor for the trial. There will also be a video set up as well, so that members who don't travel can still watch some of those proceedings by video. But certainly a lot to be watching for in the weeks ahead. It's expected that this trial could last for about 3 months.